Hello YouTube viewers. Remake of this video again, and I tend to remake my videos a lot because my videos are not scripted and I tend to talk too much. And when I'm seeing the recording time up here, it's when it passes like 20 some odd minutes, I know it's gonna be too long. So hopefully I can shorten this video with this last attempt before I go to sleep. I'm doing another bullet video, and the reason why I'm doing this is because I added another caliber to my collection. I don't like adding new calibers to my collection. I really don't like it because I tend to stockpile my bullets and I do reload. So is the amount of stuff I gotta buy on top of the new caliber is massive. So I tend not to add new calibers, but this one I kind of jumped into it just because it's about the time for me to try it out. It's the 40 cal and the 9, 45, 40 cal. I'm not gonna go too much into detail about the 9 and 45. I have another video that kind of, goes into details a little bit. This one I'm just gonna kind of tell you why I added a 40 cal to my collection. The reason why I added the 40 cal is a popular round. That's pretty much the biggest reason. Now that there's statistics behind that. There's documentations and velocities and behind the 40 that I all helped contribute to me adding on a 40 to my collection. But I'm just saying well, let's just say the reason why I didn't add 40 is because it's a relatively new caliber. It came out in 1990, so it's only been 22 years compared to 9 to 45. I mean, you're looking at it's a baby. 40 is a baby. But when I did have a choice to buy the 40 cal back in the 1990s, I didn't because it's a new caliber and I didn't know of its popularity. The reason why popularity is important is because of the bullet's accessibility. If the bullet caliber never catches on, you're not gonna find it in stores, and that's gonna be a big problem for you, or for anybody, in that fact. So I waited and I held off the 40 cal for a little bit, and instead of buying a 40 cal weapon and taking a gamble, I decided to do a lot of research. So while I was buying my 45s, my 9s, and all the guns for it, and trading and doing all this, I did a lot of research on the 40. And every time a new review came out, I go ahead and I read that, I watched it, this and that. And after all this time, I decided to now add the 40 just because it's always gained popularity and it's only growing in popularity. Now, as far as popularity grows, criticism grows as well. But even when people are hating the 40, it's growing popular. So I decided to go ahead and add the 40 onto my collection. Now, there's a few talking points as far as the 40 goes. I'm going to talk about the velocity and the weight of the bullet. Those are the two biggest I guess two biggest topics as far as a bullet goes, right? I mean, the velocity and the weight of the bullet, right? Before that, the 40 Smith & Wesson was, like I said, developed in 1990 for the FBI. Now that's a great start. Well, honestly, it's for a caliber to be developed for like an FBI, it's you're looking at something that's gonna probably grow in popularity, and this was they were using a 38 special plus the FBI load, right? Plus P's now, what we know as plus P's. They're using the 38 special and they were very happy with it, but they were going to go to autos. And they wanted something that has, the same kind of, I guess, same kind of specs as a 38 special, but put into an auto pistol. And this is when 10mm started coming out. Tried to gain popularity. Now, because the 10mm never caught on. So, this is why I don't go out there and purchase new calibers really quickly. I tend to wait and see what gains popularity. And if a bullet is once very popular, then you're gonna find it in stores. And even the 32 ACP, I can still find it in stores. So, I thought the 40 gained enough popularity for me to go ahead and pick it up and try it out. And the gun that I picked for this was the Springfield Armory XD 40 subcompact, and it's my first gun in olive drab green. Very happy about that. And the reason why okay, Springfield Armory XD40. You know, any XD line is very very good for me. And I've never read a negative review on an XD, and I've owned lots of XDs, and I love them all. The reason why I got subcompact was because it's kind of like a two-in-one. I could go ahead and pop this full-size magazine in with a little sleeve right here, and it becomes a full-size pistol grip. And then when I want to conceal it, I have the subcompact magazine, which cuts off right here. And I have a pierced pinky extender on that one too, but I mean it comes up and it kind of hides in. And that one would be more for concealability, so it's like a two-in-one pistol, right? And if you're gonna get the service model, then you're looking at just this grip size only, and then you're gonna have the 4-inch barrel instead of the 3.1-inch. But you know, besides that, it's pretty much the subcompact. You're getting a little bit better value, in my opinion. It's gonna recoil a little bit more because it is a subcompact gun, but I'm not very recoil sensitive. I shoot the Smith & Wesson 500 like no problem. So that's why I picked the subcompact. I don't want to really go into too much into the gun purchase. I'm gonna maybe make another video on that. But calibers go. As far as calibers go, let's jump right into the velocities. I chose the Hornady display here because it shows the velocity on the boxes, and I think that's a little bit easier for me to show on the video to get my point out of a 40 being a pretty decent caliber. Now, you saw my video on the 945, and if you didn't, then here, go ahead and watch it. But just kind of the shortened version of that is I really like both calibers. I prefer the 45 because it has the heavier bullet, but then the 9, it pretty much has the same amount of energy because the velocity is going really fast on that 9. And energy is basically, you know, the combination of weight of the bullet and the speed of the bullet. Right? It's like saying getting hit, you know, by a rock. We'll just say like a golf ball sized rock that's going 1,000 miles, or getting hit by a medicine ball going 10 miles. You know, a medicine ball is a lot heavier, but it's going 10 miles, right? It's going to do less damage. But as far as a rock going 1,000 miles, that's going to create massive amounts of damage. And this is kind of what people forget when they look at calibers, just because of the size. The sheer size is just massively different. A monstrous 45, you know, people look at that, they get intimidated. They go, wow, that thing's monstrous. That thing could take down a bear. It can't, but you know, they look at that, and that's what they think power is. They look at the 9mm and they go, what is that little dinky round? And you know, this is the biggest reason why people make the mistake, is that yeah, it's a smaller range bullet, but the velocity on the 9mm is going a lot faster than the 45 is, and this is where people get the debate where, hey, no, but the 9mm is faster, so you know, it has more penetration, you know, and then the 45, oh, but the 45 is massive bullet, and would you rather get hit by none? Really, that's the answer. But as far as energy goes, they're pretty much similar. So that's why I never preferred one a lot over the other. I mean, I prefer the 45, yeah, because it's a bigger grain bullet and it'll release more of its kinetic energy and contact, but you know, 9mm is a very nice round, and it's accessible everywhere, and there's so many loads for the 9mm, and it's pretty much, you know, these are two of my favorite rounds as far as for pistols go. So enough about the 9 and 45. Let's go on to the 40. 40. Let's see here. 40 was designed off the 10mm. It was for the FBI. They wanted to get more capacity in their firearms, and at the time they were using 38 special revolver. So, you know, for the mag change, you know, say you shoot a revolver 5 rounds, boom, you're done, and then you gotta pop up the cylinder, you know, empty the shit out, and start loading them. You could use moon clips or speed loaders, but it takes time. With the auto loaders, you could just drop the mag and pop another one in, and you could even, you know, slam rack if you wanted. That'd be really quick. So the FBI wanted to upgrade to an auto pistol, and they wanted the power of 38 special plus P, 38 special FBI loaded rounds, right, which is the plus P. So they didn't want the 9, you know, so they wanted a new caliber produced for them, and they chose they didn't choose anything really. They were going back and forth on it. They want like the 10mm kind of power, but the recoil is a little bit too hard on the 10mm. So what they did was they basically shortened the case on 10mm. It's the same diameter. It's a 40 is basically like an I reload. So if you're gonna reload 10mm, you could use the same rotating plate as the 40. So it's pretty much very similar to 10mm. It's the only problem I see is that it's running at a very high pressure, 35,000 psi. So that's where the snappy recoil comes in. As far as the 40, you're running at a lower pressure, but it's a heavier bullet, so you're gonna have more of that. It's gonna be a recoil, but it's gonna be more like a strong push recoil rather than the 40 is gonna be like a strong hit recoil. And as far as the 9 goes, if you're gonna say a 9 has too much recoil, and you're shooting a full-size gun, yeah, that's a problem. Especially if you're an avid shooter and you shoot and you have a decent amount of experience. I think a 9mm is a good training gun, training caliber, so you could use it for home defense and all that. If you're really new and you're really recoil sensitive, a 22, but as far as the actual enthusiast goes, the 9, the 45, and the 40 is all controllable. It's not going to be the point where you're gonna say this is too much recoil. But the 40 does have a snappier recoil. I'm not recoil sensitive, so I never really cared about the recoil. But when looking at the facts here and the velocities, the 40 always intrigued me. Sheesh. So I finally jumped the gun and got a 40 caliber pistol, and stockpiling 40 calibers now. I'm not gonna reload the 40s because it runs in a higher pressure, and I don't want a case rupture. That's the last thing I'd want. So 40, I'm gonna leave that alone. I don't want to buy the die set for it and all that. So I'll stick with 9s and 45s as far as reloading. Reloading is a total different video too. Like I said, there's plenty of reasons to reload. One is to save a little bit of money. The other is to get the bullet to your specifications. I reload for both reasons. Let's see here, but I'll always use factory ammo for self-defense. Let's see here. Velocities go. Like I said, the video is already getting too long, so I'm talking too much about useless things. The 45 muzzle velocity is 1,000 feet per second. The 40 muzzle velocity is 1,175 feet per second. 9mm muzzle velocity is 1,140 feet per second. Now the speed off the muzzle, the 40 is the fastest. Like I said, energy basically is the combination of weight of the bullet and the speed of the bullet. So when I was seeing this velocity on the boxes, I was shocked. I didn't chrono any of these, so I'm going by what the box says, and usually it's a little bit slower than what the box says. But I mean, if they're consistently slower in all three, then I'm pretty sure it's gonna be okay. The 45, okay, it's not usually this light. This is a 185 grain, and it's not usually this fast. But the reason why I have it because it has the little feet per second here. But usually it's 230 grain, and usually you're looking at under 1,000 feet per second. The reason why I like this ammo, just for that reason, is because it like acts like a 40. And the only downfall is that the 45 is a big caliber and you fit less in the magazine and it's heavier. But as far as the grain of the bullet goes, it's pretty similar. 185, 165. 165 I see is the norm for the 40. And there's 180 and there's plenty of other weights. 9mm is the 115. But there's 124 and so on and so forth. So for the weight of the bullet and the speed of the bullet, I was shocked. And this is the reason why I actually jumped onto the 40 cal. I'm going to try it out, and I'm going to shoot. And after my first, I say 2,000, 3,000 rounds, might pull out the Springfield and do a little video on that and tell you a little bit more in depth about how I felt when I shot it. But this is my little jump towards the 40. If you're looking at a caliber that you want to kind of get in the middle of the 9 to 45, the 40 is good. As far as concealed carry, I think 40 is good. Personal defense, I think 40 is good. So I go ahead and added a 40 to my collection. I did what I didn't want to do. Well, thank you for watching. This is my little, babble about the 40 caliber, I guess. Hope you enjoy, and I actually like video responses as well, and your opinion on the 40 will be great. Like I said, I don't have much experience with 40, and I'm relatively new to the 40 cal, so hopefully you guys can give me some tips when shooting the 40 cal, maybe a better way to hold so that I could kind of get that snappy recoil. I could reduce that snappy recoil or something like that. Alright, well, you guys have a happy new year. Basically, it's almost New Year, and thank you for watching.